Well, hello, Viking football fans, and welcome to this edition of the Billy Skinner Lamar Viking Football Coaches Show. I'm Bill Frawley, and with me, of course, as always, is head Viking football coach and Lamar Athletic Director, Billy Skinner. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Long time no see. It's good to see you again.
It's been too long, and I tell you, I really meant to kind of connect with you during the summer, but my previous full-time job just went crazy. And
Gotcha.
I left that on July 31st. So I've been kind of recovering and getting ready to start my own little consulting business. But we will be in contact more frequently here, of course, as football season gets underway.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, let's start off by telling a little bit about the fall camp and the schedule. And, you told me offline you got to sleep in until 5:45. And I say sleep in because, some people are going to bed at that time, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. No, so I guess we started fall camp on July 31st. And with the freshmen, we brought them in at 5:30 a.m. And so for me personally, that meant a little 3:45 wake up, which is good. I get to get my day started, or where some people are getting their evenings wound down. And anyway, we'd bring freshmen in at 5:30 and get them acclimated to us and to all of the coaches, so they got the full staff. And then we'd bring the varsity players in at 8:30. So the varsity coaches, I'm sure they're a little worn out, because they were doing two-a-days, the true traditional two-a-days. They'd work with the freshmen, and then the varsity group would come in and they'd work with the varsity group. And so it looked like that first week. Second week, we all came in at 5:30. So that was last week. We all came in at 5:30 a.m. To get our work in and to get practices in. It was nice and cool in the morning, a good 89 degrees.
Yeah.
And never has 89 degrees felt so good. So yeah, we'd get work early in the morning, and then we'd be off to our teacher in services and all of those good things. And we had our scrimmage on Saturday. I know you're going to ask me about it, so I don't want to ruin it. I want to wait till I hear your question on that.
Okay, thanks.
But yeah, it's just been kind of wash, rinse, repeat, as far as our system goes, as far as the work goes and the practice goes. And really proud of how our kids have responded, because it's hard. And we tell our kids it's designed that way. There's not a lot of traffic at 4 a.m. in the morning. There's not traffic jams at 5 a.m. in the morning. And we like to compare it to the road of success. There's a lot of work that's required on that road, but man, there's not a lot of traffic on that road either. So we try to sell that message to our kids, and I was really pleased at how they bought into it.
Well, it shows me, with the increased numbers in the program you've told me about offline, that people are buying into the program. And that's not just players, that's parents, that's your coaching staff, that's fans, that's a lot of people. I want to go back to that July 31st, 5:30 a.m. freshman call when they were there. So, and I really had intentions of meeting y'all up there at 5:30, but it turned out to be my last day of work at my
Gotcha.
previous full-time job, and things went crazy. But so that's my excuse or explanation. But what kind of participation did you have? Were the freshmen all there? Did some have to be reminded? Did some have to wipe the sleepies out of their eyes for a while?
You know what? Shockingly, not a ton of reminders sent. I mean,
Good.
consistently those first 2 weeks of the 5:30 a.m., 60 freshmen showing up, that core group of freshmen showing up. I told them I was going to be here at 4:45 to open the doors, and kids like Zion Johnson and Justin Magruder, they're beating me here. Jason Gibson, those three normally beat me here to the facility. So I'm pulling up at 4:45, like I told them I'd be here, and they're sitting outside ready to go. So
Wow.
it's I'll tell you, this group, you're going to hear a lot this year, and you'll see a lot this year of this freshman group, of how good they are at football. And that's awesome, and that's cool and everything. But what's really neat about this group of freshmen is that they work really hard. They work for one another. They hold each other accountable. And there's a strong sense of leadership with that group, a strong sense of leading by doing, and some good verbal leaders in that group. So I was really pleased with that group. I was really pleased with their attention to detail, showing up on time. I was really pleased with just that whole setup. And so I think everybody's going to be really excited to watch that group play this year and watch them win games. But I hope as fans, as parents, when you watch them, you realize, yes, they're good at football, but yes, they are earning it every day. And it started on July 31st at 5:30 a.m. or 4:45 a.m. for a lot of those kids that were showing up early.
Well, coach, and that says a lot because, all right, you, the coaches, y'all get paid to be there.
Yep.
Between excuse me, between 4:45 and 5:30. But the players and the parents, the freshmen that drive them there, don't get paid
Yep.
to be there. And so that speaks highly already of their work ethic and their desire to play because, you get paid to be somewhere, you better show up or you're not going to
Right.
get paid the next day or that
Right.
day. But when you are doing it volunteer because it's in your heart, that says a lot.
Yeah. I'm very pleased, very impressed with that group. Very impressed with those parents too, because there was, when I said it in the parent meeting, hey, here's what's about to happen. There was not a lot of pushback either. They were like, all right, coach, let's go. We're ready.
Awesome. That's wonderful. And that parental support is important for each of the boys and young men on the team, but it's also important that you and the coaching staff have that buy-in and support from them also.
Absolutely.
So there's 2 freshman teams, 2 JV teams, of course, a varsity team, which indicates to me, and you've told me the numbers are up in the program. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So after oh my goodness, I guess it was at the beginning of this week, I called our athletic director and I said, Coach White, man, I got good news and I got bad news. And I said, the good news is the numbers are blowing up. The bad news is I'm running out of helmets. And so
Oh my.
yeah, we're running out of equipment, which is a great problem to have.
Yeah.
And they're going to take really good care of us here and we're going to have everything that we need. But when you're XL helmets, when you're down to your last 1 XL helmets, life is going to be pretty good around the program. That means we got big kids showing up and all of that good stuff. So yeah, the numbers are higher than I've experienced as a head football coach. And so it's new territory for me just in how to manage more people and more parents and those kind of things. So that's been a cool learning curve for me. Because that's what we want to do. We want to keep the numbers going up. I want to run out of helmets again next year. And so it's been really cool to see. I told our coaches the first year we got here, we're going to have 5 football teams. We're going to have 2 freshmen and 2 JVs, and it's going to happen within those first 4 years. So I thought it was going to be 4 years away before we had the 2 JV teams. But the fact that we're able to do it going into year 3, it's really exciting for us, and just we want to keep building on that momentum.
That is. No, y'all aren't going to have to resort to the old leather helmets that have the chin, the strap and all that kind of stuff.
No,
Correct?
so I had to pull out an old Revo, which is what Peyton Manning wore when he played, the original Revolution helmet. I pulled one out, and it's got 1 more year of being able to be used. I'm hoping I don't have to dig into the Revos to hand out because I want our kids to have the good stuff, and I want them to have the most new and up-to-date stuff, which is great that Coach White is making sure we're taken care of.
Good deal. Now you alluded to this already, and so when you said you're running out of XL helmets, especially or in particular, that indicates there's some bigger guys coming through the program. Is that?
So this is the largest, and I don't mean quantity.
Gotcha.
I'm talking about big beefy humans. This is the largest
Height and weight.
height and weight. This is the largest freshman group we've had that's come through in a while. And I'm talking about even back when I was coordinating, and maybe even back when I was playing.
Okay.
There are some large individuals. There are guys like Samari Wilkins. When you see him, you're going to point him out and you're going to say, who's that kid? And I'm going to say, oh, that's the freshman, Samari Wilkins. And your jaw's going to drop. Jalen Williams is another just massive human. DeAndre Gentry is another one. I mean, we've got Jamar. So we've got big kids, and you get a kid like Jamarcus Golly, and of course his last name is I know all of our kids, so please.
I got you. No pain, no. It is Friday morning, but
it's Friday
it's
morning,
third day of
and
school, and yeah,
I'm
don't
so
worry.
used to just yelling, "Yes, sir, Jamarcus, good job."
Looking up at him.
Yes, Jamarcus Thomas. Jamarcus Thomas is one that 2 years ago, last year when he came in, if he were to come in then, he would have to be an offensive lineman. Well, he's very skilled for a big guy, and he's one that we can actually work at tight end with that freshman group. Now he's
Oh,
also
wow.
going to be a really good defensive end, but it's a group of large individuals, and so it allows us to be creative with some of the other large, more skilled individuals. So I'm telling you, I'll tell you this: the game starts there. Offensive and defensive line. That's where the unsung heroes of the game are. That is the part of the game and the people that don't get recognized nearly enough. And so when you have great bigs, when you have a large group of bigs, it definitely it's appreciated by the staff and the coaches and the players. I mean, our skill kids on those levels, they see how big that offensive line is, and they see how big those defensive guys are, and they appreciate it too, and they do a good job of loving them up.
Well, controlling the line of scrimmage on offense or on defense and pushing whichever way you're trying to do on offense or defense,
Yep.
That's very key. And as well as, of course, protecting the quarterback or
Yep.
giving some space or holes, A gap, B gap, whatever it might be for the running back or tailback to break through and get some good yardage.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So
Excellent.
Win the ball, win the line, you got a chance to win the game.
Well, looking forward to next Thursday when we get to see those guys in action. All right, so you've had one. You mentioned this earlier. You've had one scrimmage with the varsity last weekend. How'd that go? Tell us a little bit about what y'all observed and learned and working on.
Yes. So both the sub varsities went as well, freshman and JV. I'll tell you, it was fun to watch those two groups. Both of them had two teams that were rolling out there, and just it was nice to see them have success. It was nice to see them have to fail. It was good to see how they handled, all right, hey, this one didn't work as well as I thought it was, and go recalibrate, redo it, and then go and have success with it. So it was good to see those sub varsities. From the varsity standpoint, man, we treated it more like an NFL style practice where the Cowboys will bring in the Chargers and they'll practice together and they'll do run hole and all of that. Well, Coach Small and I from Nimitz, we decided we wanted to kind of take that approach. And so we had about a 2-hour practice together, and we did run specific drills. We did one-on-ones with receivers and DBs. We did some 7-on-7 stuff. And then we went through and we did the scrimmage. The big resounding thing that I was pleased with our kids, we talked about it in the off season, and we talk about it every opportunity we got, is NBA Vikes, never bullied again. And our kids played with a little bit of an edge. Our kids, they I had a couple of clips that I showed our entire team of Damian Brown and of Cooper Barnard running through somebody that weighs more than they weigh. But because of effort, because of pad level, because of them taking coaching and applying coaching, they were able to show what never bullied again looks like on film. And so everybody got to see it. And that was nice to see. Flip side of that, things we've got to work on. We got to get in better shape.
Okay.
We played at 9 a.m. And we went until close to 11. And towards the end, we were a little bit gassed in some spots. And so walking out of that scrimmage, I was pleased with offensively what we were doing. I was pleased with defensively what we were doing. We worked some special teams. I was pleased with those. I just want to make sure we can do it at a really high level later in games. And so that's kind of been our emphasis after that scrimmage is, hey, let's get in shape. Let's make sure that we've got our lungs. Let's make sure that we're not cramping up. Let's make sure that we've got people that can finish games, because I don't know if you know this or not, but apparently it's hot outside. And
What?
so, yeah. And that's the word on the street, at least. And so some of these games are going to be a little bit warmer. than maybe they've been in the past. And so we want our kids to be ready to go and play 4 quarters in uncomfortable conditions and those things. What I like about our kids is, as hot as it is, not a lot of complaining. They know what the standard is, and they want to work and meet it. So yeah, after looking at that scrimmage, a lot of things I'm pleased about. I want to make sure we're in good shape, because if we are, we'll have opportunities this year.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And coaches, you're saying that, it makes me think, I guess there's 2 ways to be prepared and conditioned to finish out the 48 minutes of clock time strongly. One, of course, you've talked about physically, which includes, acclimating to the heat,
Yep.
getting the liquids in, all that kind of stuff, not dehydrating, but also mentally.
Yes.
And that's important also, isn't it?
Yes, sir. So in our first team meeting of the year, I asked the kids, what is an athlete's number one ability? And Jalen Humbles, who might be the smartest person on our campus, that dude is sharp. He looked up and immediately said, availability, coach. And that's what I was looking for. An athlete's number one ability is availability. And that means taking care of our body. But just like what you said, it's being able to mentally be challenged and stay within the moment, because there are times someone is going to push us after a whistle. There are times that maybe there's a call that we don't agree with. There are times when mentally tough things happen, and we have to stay available as a team mentally. We have to stay available. Hey, I've got to take care of my body and drink water so that I can be in the game in the 4th quarter. So like you're saying, we talk about that. We try to harp on that, and that availability piece for our kids. They know it's so much more than the physical. We talk about it from a mental standpoint as well.
Well, that's good to know, because I mentioned last year, probably multiple times during our coaches shows, that compared to the year before, so that's 2 years ago, last year, there was a big decrease in unsportsmanlike penalties, because you just talked about, hey, there may be pushing after the whistle, there may be a call you don't agree with, but keeping the frustration in check,
Yep.
Is vital. And I assume y'all are working hard on that as well again.
Yes, absolutely. And that goes along the lines of, hey, is it about me or is it about us? And so we try to make sure with our core skills, it's bet. So it's brotherhood, elite effort, and it's toughness. So no matter how hard the situation, we're going to give everything we got for our brothers. And if a guy pushes me, I know I'm going to be the second one who pushes back. I'm going to get caught. Well, yeah, I got something out of it, quote unquote, but my team just got penalized. It can't be about me. And so we try to do little things a lot to make sure that they understand who they're playing for at the end of every practice. Because in fall camp, in the season in general, it's easy for the Lamar Vikings to be the Lamar offense and the Lamar defense, and there to be 2 separate teams on a team. And so one of the things we do here is at the end of every practice, we're going to compete versus one another. So there'll be an O versus D segment, but we're all Vikes at the end. And so we do what I call love them up. And you'll see a big mix of white shirts and blue shirts, and they're going and they're genuinely hugging each other and loving on each other and just, hey, great stuff today. Glad you're here today. We affirm one another. And so we try to do small things like that, because if you do know your teammates and you do affirm your teammates and you do love on your teammates, you are willing to put yourself to the side whenever it comes to those big moments, when it comes to those times where you can push after the whistle. And you remember, hey, I'm not necessarily doing this for me. I'm doing this for Gannon, and I'm doing this for Deontay, and I'm doing this for Jesse Little. So we try to harp on that, and we will continue to do so.
Well, it's an overused cliche, and sometimes I actually get tired of hearing it, but teamwork makes the dream work. And
makes the dream work, man.
I love that team activity of everyone gathering together and supporting each other after a workout, after an intra-squad scrimmage or whatever it might be, because that shows, okay, we might have had to go tough against each other for a little while, or we might have had to call each other out once in a while.
Yep.
But hey, we are all one cohesive group. And I'm just gonna guess there's probably some guys on the team that don't get enough of that outside of that program.
I would agree with you there. And I'm glad you said the call out piece. Coach Williamson and I actually went to Baylor and watched their spring practice. And one of the things that they did as a team at the end of their practice is they did something called call outs and call ups.
Okay.
On the call out, it's a teammate would stand up and talk to another teammate about how awesome he was that day, how he inspired him, how he affirmed that guy. On the call ups, they would have people stand up, and it was a, hey bud, I saw you not finish this rep, and if that's the standard, we are going to struggle. And so basically it was, hey, this guy did a great job, this guy, here's where you can improve. And so that's something that we've kind of incorporated a little bit into our program. That takes a lot of trust. That takes a lot of loving up, and that's why we do that at the end of practice. Hey, love them up, because there may be somebody who stands up to call somebody up to our standard. And I think our kids understand it's not an insult. It's not a, hey, here, we're going to pile on you. It's a, we love you enough that we're going to help you get to our standard. And so the few times that we've done it already, it's been super powerful. And to see our kids who are being called up, to see them respond in the way that they have been responding. And then the next day, if you watch that kid, it's awesome to see them practice, because they know eyes are on. So that's something that we stole from Baylor, who I think they said they saw it from another high school and they stole it. So, anything good in this profession is stolen, but that's something that we took this year from one of those spring practices.
I think instead of stolen, it's acquired and built upon.
No doubt about it. That's it. I like that.
I never stole anything when I was a little kid. I acquired stuff. No, but talking about the call ups and learning how to take constructive criticism. We have spoken time after time about developing boys into young men, preparing them for life after the football game season, careers are over. But even while they're football players, whether it's in the classroom, at a job, in another competition type thing, whatever it is, with family at home, being able to take criticism and use it is a huge part of transforming these boys into men. And then it's life skills, correct?
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
And on the other side of that too, is being able to let someone that you love know that they're not executing the standard. That's another life lesson. That's sure. One that I learned from my wife. I mean, she does a really good job of calling me up. You know what I mean? But it's something that we all experience. And I know it comes from a place of love. And so I want our kids to understand this comes from a place of love. Hey, you got a booger in your nose. I don't want you to walk around with a booger in your nose all day. And I love you enough to tell you now, it's a little bit uncomfortable, right? It's a little uncomfortable right now, but guess what? You got it out of your nose, and now you're walking around feeling really good.
Is there something I need to know, Coach?
No, you're good to go.
That was a hair, no mustache. But you're correct, because I was focusing so much on receiving the criticism, but knowing how to give it appropriately, is another key part. So I'm glad you mentioned that too. So, well, excellent. So y'all have another scrimmage coming up. I'll put on my turn signal as I tell some people. Yeah. So we're going back to scrimmage stuff now. Against Saxe, I believe. Yes. Is my mental schedule correct? This evening, when we're doing this on Friday, August 18th. Wow, I just shoved this 2 months closer to Christmas, didn't I? Sorry about that. We're doing this on Friday, August 18th. Not sure when people will see this. So, but this evening means Friday the 18th. 6 o'clock range, is that correct for us?
So we actually pushed it back a little bit. We're going to start the JV and 9th grade at 7 p.m. Hopefully let the sun go down a little bit and ease up on the heat. Varsity will get started at 8 o'clock, and we're over at Saxe.
Okay, excellent. I know these aren't, quote, the games that count but what do you expect to see out of Saxe? What's going to maybe challenge y'all's teams?
So the last 2 years, this has been one of the most physical matchups that we have all throughout the year. The first year, they got after us a little bit. Last year, we kind of pushed back a little bit, and it was a little spicy. But I want our kids to see a physical brand of football. I mean, defensively, they're large and they fit and they tackle and they're mean, and it's awesome. It's good. It's great for our kids to see. And so I think this is just another step in the NBA, our never bullied again mantra this year. And, because we want to go in there and we want to match intensity. We want to match physicality. And so that's what I'm looking for. We're going to bust some assignments. We're going to miss some throws. We're going to drop some footballs. We might miss a couple of tackles. I want to see guys giving all out effort and straining for their teammates. I want to see guys miss that tackle, get his butt up and go and catch the guy and bring him down. I want to see a kid drop a football, and I don't want to see that, but I want to see a kid drop a football and us go back to him 2 plays later and him make the catch and us get that first down. So I want to see that physicality, and I want to see that mental physicality. I want to see our kids respond. It's going to be hot, and I love that. I love that our kids are going to have that other element that they have to fight through. I want to see them lean on one another whenever it does get a little bit uncomfortable. So from a football standpoint, we want to run the ball well. We want to throw it on the perimeter well. We want to do those things. We want to make sure we're executing our blitzes. We want to make sure our coverages are clean. But more than anything else, I want to make sure we are playing football the way football was supposed to be played.
All right. And so building on that, I think there's some people that want to hear the answer to this as well as myself. I think I know the answer, but I'm not going to say what it is.
All right.
All right. No holding back as far as physicality, hits, all that. I mean, it's a scrimmage, but is it full force? So to speak?
It's full go on everybody except quarterbacks. And so obviously coaches, we're going to have our whistles. If I see somebody getting ready to tackle my guy from behind and I know he's about to get tackled, I may accidentally blow my whistle. I don't like guys getting tackled from behind. So, we are going. We're going to go play football tonight, and we're going to have a true live quarter. And during that live quarter, it's full tilt boogie. The quarterback, he knows he's not going to be touched, but everybody else is. It's happening. So. Definitely an opportunity to see that physicality tonight.
Sounds great. All right. Well, let's shift over real quickly. I know you got to go soon probably, but Booster Club. And I know in the last couple of seasons, you've put out the call for Gatorades.
Yes.
Or Powerades. Don't want to give one brand the whole thing or
Costco, the Costco brand. I'm telling you, I've been drinking the Costco brand and it is delicious. It is so good. So we are whatever brand of sports drink, the 20-ounce bottles they go a long way. Here at Lamar, we try to make sure we don't try to. We make sure at the end of every competition, anytime our kids in football are in a game, when it's over, they're going to have a Gatorade in their hand. It's a small thing, but it goes a long way. And I know those kids, they're looking for JR and they're looking for Garrett Carey and they're looking for those guys with the big, they've got the Gatorade cooler. And so they're always looking for it. So yes, we're making that call again this year. So if you're watching this and you're trying to find a way to positively impact Lamar football, the biggest thing you can do in season is Gatorade. So, and I say get sports drink. If you can drop
this
some.
Is not a paid endorsement for Costco Gatorade, Powerade, or any other particular brand.
That's it. That's it. So if you feel it in your heart and you want to bring something up, I'm always around the MAC. Our athletic trainers are always there. You can just kind of beat on the door and say, "Hey, let me in. I've got Gatorade," and we'll definitely be down to receive.
Awesome. Well, Coach, time has flown by. I'm looking. We've been at this for almost 30 minutes now, and these things are so much fun. It just seems like, we've been doing this 5 or 10 minutes, and so we've got a lot of more things to talk about in our next show. We'll probably do one early next week if that's okay.
Absolutely.
After this Saxy scrimmage set of scrimmages, and then before the first home game.
Yes, sir.
So all of that kind of stuff, because there's some important stuff coming up. Senior night early in the season and stuff.
It's happening. Yep, we've got senior night. The other cool thing we're doing this year that we haven't done in the past, we're doing decals with dads and mentors. And so we're having our kiddos bring their dads up or bring up a male mentor that's in their life. Might be a teacher, might be a coach, and we're going to do the decals like that in the locker room all together. So a little bit different, but we're going to do that this Thursday at 4:15 here in the MAC. And I'm really, really excited to do that this year.
Excellent stuff. Anything else you want to add on before we And I'm looking at the clock like, oh, 30 minutes, but you may have some more time, but I know school has started Wednesday. So,
Yep, and I've got to get in some hallways here pretty quick.
all right.
No, there's so many things that I probably need to add here at the end. I know that we've got cross country running today. We've got tennis going today. Here's what I will tell you about tennis. You talk about some tough kids. I don't know if you've been on a tennis court at 3 p.m., but it's a little warm out there. And those kids, I mean, just I'm not sure I've heard them complain yet. And so if you get an opportunity, come check out our tennis team. I know we're playing today at 6. Our volleyball team is in action this week. They're playing at a tournament in Eaton. I think they're playing at 2 today. I don't want to lie to you about that, but
Sure.
a lot going on in Lamar athletics this week. And I love this time of the year. I love getting to see everybody compete. So if you don't get to make it to a football game this year, please make it to something Lamar related. Come see our kids, come celebrate our kids. And I can tell you they'll definitely appreciate any support.
Speaking of tennis, if you have 60 seconds.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I went to watch one of my neighbors, Doug Zimmerman, who will be a sophomore. He's tennis and baseball, and he was in a summer league, and he had to end up playing an adult, like someone probably in his 30s, I'm going to guess, just because of the equal rating. And so it was one of those hot afternoons, and I went out to watch him play with his folks, and it was a real close match. And finally, you talk about toughness and stuff in the heat of that afternoon. The adult finally said, you know what? I'm done. You've worn me out. You've run me around the court, the heat. So I'm not saying Doug wouldn't have won anyway, but I mean, the toughness and conditioning and perseverance paid off there for sure.
Hey,
so it's fun to watch every sport that happens at Lamar.
No doubt about it. And we've got so many great coaches around here. Coach Camp with our cross country and track team. She does a phenomenal job with those kids. Coach Monroe, I'm telling you, if you're a young coach and you want to see how coaching is supposed to, just how it's supposed to be done, go and watch Lamar tennis, but watch Courtney Monroe and how he interacts with his kids and how he coaches and how simple he keeps it. He's as good as they come. And obviously Heather Woodman, our athletic coordinator for the girls side and our head volleyball coach, we've got great people leading our programs. And so that's another piece that makes it fun.
All right. Well, Coach, now I'm going to do a call out for you.
Yes.
As the athletic director at Lamar High School, I love seeing you at so many different sports. I mean, I've seen you at baseball from the booth. I've seen you in the stands at basketball, at volleyball, men's, women's, all of it. Thank you for how you support everything. Because football, it's easy for it to get kind of over dominated, but you support every sport. And you mentioned the teams and the coaches on these shows. So thank you.
Oh, you bet. Well, thank you. And I'll tell you, we really do enjoy it. And I say we because there are times when my kids are like, hey, Dad, who are we going to go watch tonight? And so
I love that.
they love it just as much.
And how good's the concession food?
Oh, hey, no doubt about that.
Definitely. All right. Well, until next time, I'm Bill Frawley with head Viking football coach and athletic director at Lamar High School, Billy Skinner, saying VFND.
VFND.